really think a place at his best.
And I think he'd need the edge off the track as well. This might be getting too hard for him.
Yep.
So just quickly in summary, I mean, we've been here for a lot of hours today. Frightening remains the tote favourite, which I think is a bit of a surprise in that he hasn't lengthened a little, but the Sabat factor. Have you changed your mind at all coming to the track since you arrived?
Not at all for me. I'm still very strong behind Maccabi Diva. I think the preparation's been ideal. Maybe the track's getting to the maximum dryness factor as far as Maccabi Diva's concerned, but I'm staying loyal.
Yeah, sure, I'm the same too. Pentastic, another one who probably, the sun out there suits all of us, but probably not Pentastic. I still think Maccabi Diva, Grey Song, Zagalia, and Hugs Dancer of the Internationals, he's mine.
OK, so that's our thoughts. We'll certainly be showing you the horses in the mounting yard. We're going to be joined by our international viewers very shortly, and as we build to this great race, the race that certainly stops this nation. But at the moment, Frightening is the favourite, and if he were to be successful, Bart Cummings would win a remarkable 12th Melbourne Cup here today. That's all in front of us. We'll be back to Flemington in just a moment.
Bowler's beaten, Vansittart finishing on. Baghdad note the leader. Vansittart taking it back. Baghdad note in front of the Greys won the cup. Leilani's grabbing him quickly. Battle Height's only a neck. Leilani's grabbed it. Captain Perry and his Think Big might beat them all. Think Big's flying home. Race to Leilani and Think Big's won it. R1 just the leader. Carew trying to pick him back from Boldness. Then So-Called and Dandelies. But it's R1 in front near the cup. Dandelies getting through in the centre, but R1 the outsiders won the cup about a neck to Dandelies. Salamander ahead in front, Hyperno's grabbing him. They go to the post together. Hyperno, if anything's won at a nose to Salamander.
Noble comment about him neck in front, Mr. Jazz on the outside, and Kiwis flying might beat them all. Kiwis come from last in a phenomenal performance.
Rogan Josh with Central Park and the Warrior, the 3 metres from Zarzabel on the outside. It's Central Park, the Warrior and Rogan Josh and Central Park. Rogan Josh, Park did it again. Rogan Josh from Central Park. Photo third over Lahar of Zarzabel from Travel Maiden, the Warrior, and then second coming.
The boss can't complain of a rowdy office as pens are dropped and tools are down for the annual listen-in strike.
There's no other day like this, a national celebration around a horse race. But then the Melbourne Cup has always been more than a race, so much more. More than a century ago, Mark Twain fell in love with what he called the anticipation and jubilation of Melbourne's one true festival. Then, as now, the Cup is an absurd test of staying power, a Mardi Gras and fashion show, and a link with our history. Listen, and you'll hear the echoes of our past.
The trumpet's finishing like a shot out of a... Oh, there's a ball in the Cup, there's 2 or 3 down.
And Jimmy Johnson said, let's go on, get on, get on.
Kiwi's going to beat them all with a mighty run.
They call this the sport of kings, but the Cup is a handicap, and the ill-bred and the unwanted have often snubbed logic. For its outrageous fortune, we love this day even more. Ratbags rub shoulders with royals, nobles become common, and commoners lose their shirts. But the Cup also turns mortals into national treasures. Some of our most enduring legends come from this anniversary. In the dark days of the Depression, a big red horse lifted the nation's hopes. And in the toughest of times, a brave jockey carried the admiration of the people.
It just goes to show you should never take anything for granted and, you know, always appreciate your loved ones.
For all its folklore, fun and frivolity, this first Tuesday of November owes its soul to the gallant and inspirational. There is no other day like this.
There is no other day like this, and look at the temperature and the weather here and the blue skies in Melbourne as we descend on Flemington Racecourse. Massive crowds. The record crowd ever for a Melbourne Cup was 3 years ago, 121,000. Today we feel like we are getting close. 5 international runners, lots of stories. Can Bart Cummings win for a 12th time? No other trainer has won more than 5. And could a 17-year-old jockey from Ireland win, or Australia's first female rider? Hello and welcome to Flemington. We welcome our international viewers, more than 60 countries around the world and 700 million viewers. You're in for a treat. This is the race that truly stops a nation, the $4.6 million Tooheys New Melbourne Cup. I'm joined by Dr. Turf. Doctor, at 7 o'clock this morning, we got a shock because the one-time favourite was out of the Cup.
We did, Bruce, and I suppose when you consider what's happened on the weekend, the animosity between the stewards and the jockey, between the trainer and the jockey, why wouldn't something else have happened today? And of course, 7 o'clock this morning, they delivered Mummify. He's been really favoured for the race, I suppose, for the last 6 weeks. And his form leading up to the race, of course, Caulfield Cup win, consolidated his position as favourite, came out this morning. What a shock. But why were we surprised?
It's that sort of race. It brings on those sort of stories, doesn't it? The weather and track, well, it's just absolutely ideal today. Look at the skies above. We had ordinary weather for Derby Day and got 97,000. Currently 23, and that's at about the mid-70s if you're watching from overseas, and New Deal in Fahrenheit. The track, interesting because it has been a drying day. Peter Donegan is out there to tell us all about it.
Bruce, I can tell you this is a sight to behold moments before the start of the Tooheys New Melbourne Cup. We started out with a dead track today. That is the second best rating. But about 2 hours ago, the sun and the wind had their effect. The track is officially good, and this famous stretch of Flemington turf is about to acclaim another winner for the 143rd time on a surface that's going to suit both the locals and the raiders.
So an even surface. I think every horse will get a chance today to run their best race in this Tooheys New Melbourne Cup. Now the totes, with over $10.8 million in the pool on Super Tab. Jardine's look out at $40. Mamul continues to shorten into $8.
Yes, that oil money has arrived, Bruce, and he's rock solid. I think second favourite now on the Victorian tote.
Fantastic at $10. We work through the favourites. County Tyrone is a good odds. Holy Orders, so much sentimental money for the cantankerous Irish horse, $15. Mr. Prudent will be the oldest horse ever to win. He's at $12. Distinctly Secret, New Zealand's best horse at $13. Both Grey Song and Mackay B Diva well in the market.
Certainly, as is Hugs Dancer. I know $21 seems a bit, Bruce, but he's an international galloper. $21 is, that's a good odds, I reckon, for me.
Frightening at $6.10. That horse is trained by Bart Cummings, who's won 11 Cups, and a month ago that horse would have been paying about $65. Zagalia is probably the value on the final page. She's an Oaks winner, her form looks to be good, and she's paying $20 on Super Tab and yet only $10.80 in New South Wales.
Yes, and her form is very, very good coming into the race. And of course, Big Pat, a little bit of sentimental. That horse, for some reason, maybe it's just the name, Big Pat, Bruce. He's always been in the betting, no matter what race he's been in.
Well, the Melbourne Cup itself has been all around Australia. It's been to some of the centres that have meant so much to the history of this race, and it has arrived today at Flemington. It was a new innovation, a little like the Olympic torch. And speaking of Olympians, that's Andrew Hoy, who's won 3 consecutive gold medals in eventing and equestrian at the Olympics, in 92 in Barcelona, in 96 where he carried the flag for Australia in the opening ceremony, and again in Sydney 2000, and hopefully in Athens next year going for a 4th consecutive gold medal. The right bloke to have the Melbourne Cup in his hands right now.
No doubt about that, and gee, there's 23 sets of owners out there, Bruce, that are pretty keen to get their hands on it a little bit later on this afternoon.
Rod Fitzroy, who's the chairman of the VRC, will be accepting the Cup from Andrew very, very shortly. So the prize money here, a massive $2.7 million Australian dollars on offer. And if you win this race, you are a name forever in Australian racing and Australian sport. Win a Cup, you're never forgotten.
Bruce, I'm a punter, but I've also owned a few horses over the years, and it's just I don't ever expect to win a race, win the Melbourne Cup. I just want to have a horse run in the race. That'd be enough for me.
Well, 23 starters today with the scratching of Mummify, 5 of them from overseas, including the mighty Godolphin stable, who have been coming here for the last 6 years and hoping to make it a 7th. They've been placed on 3 occasions. And here's the handover now of the Tooheys New Melbourne Cup. So the selections for today's great race. Peter Donegan has gone for Mackay B Diva. Pentastic, Jardine's Lookout. 12, 5 and 1. A David Hall Quinella, his roughie, number 24, Yakama. Doctor?
Yes, I've gone for Maccabi Diva as well, Bruce. She's got the right form coming into the race. I had to pop one international galloper in there, number 10, Hugs Dancer, and number 11, Grey Song. Tommy Hughes, a grand old trainer, went so close with Salamander a few years ago behind Hyperno. And my best roughie, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, that's Jardine's Lookout's companion, his gentleman's companion, Henry.
He's the Welsh pony that's been out here with Jardine's Lookout for the last 2 years. And Ken Callender has selected Pentastic from Maccabi Diva. So David Hall, who has 3 runners today, is in the box seat. Mill Street for third, and Hugs Dancer, who ran very well in the Caulfield Cup, is his best roughie. There's the Holy Grail, and that's what it is in Australian sport. Get your hands around that, wouldn't you love it? Buck Cummings has refused to put his hands on it until he either wins or loses today. The start is the most famous in Australian racing. You get a good run, there's a big field, the wide barriers are probably not such a disadvantage. You can win from the outside draw. Zagalia has drawn that today. So that's where the 3,200 metre start is. We're expecting close to a record crowd today, thousands and thousands. One person in the crowd who's having a great time is Melanie Simons.
If you want atmosphere, nothing beats being in amongst the crowd. Most of the 100,000 or so people at Flemington today are right here with me. They've paid their $40 entry fee, and it's their ticket to a whole lot of fun.
Have you ever seen a car park looking quite so glamorous? The backs of the cars have become bars, the good linen is on the picnic tables, and the entire celebration is running on champagne, and plenty of it.
There's a rumour going around that there's actually horse races being held here today at Flemington. Not that most of the people in this birdcage area would know. It is about the marquees, the socialising, the visiting international and Australian celebrities such as Sam Neill, Stephen Fry, Sarah O'Hare, and of course the Hilton sisters. And there are many, many more than that. This is the place to be for the fun and the fashion.
Now, to me, what makes a great outfit is a complete ensemble. The hat you wear has got to add to your outfit, not detract. The shoes, the handbag, it's all got to go together. There's no real rules with colour. I've seen a lot of green, but I've seen some shocking shades of green and some beautiful shades of green. So, as you can see, the place is awash with colour, beautiful hats, and, of course, gorgeous girls.
So something for everybody here at Flemington. It's a party and it's focusing on this 3,200 metre race. It takes about 3 minutes and 20 seconds. The stakes are so high, and for the jockeys too. There's a bit of history with the jockeys. Got a lot having their first ride today, but we've had some success too. Damien Oliver and Jim Cassidy are two that spring to mind.
Certainly, I was talking to Greg Hall this morning, of course. He won the race a few years back now on Sub-Zero, and he just says of all the millions of rides he has, he just knows once you cross the line, you know you've got it for life. You're a Melbourne Cup winner, you'll never lose it, they can't ever take it off you.
What about David Condon, who rides Hugs Dancer today? Rather, I should say Holly Orders today, 17 years of age, from Ireland, coming out. What a man's job for him.
I wonder if he realises the significance of the race that he's in. So many jockeys, so many great jockeys over the years have ridden in this race so many times and walked away with nothing. This young 17, 18-year-old kid comes out from Ireland having his first ride in the race, he might pinch it.
The riders are about to be presented to the public here in the Mounting Yard. It's a real feature of the big races here in Australia. And what a mix we have today, from Frankie Dettori all the way through to Claire Lindop. And I say that with all due respect to Claire, who's the first Australian female to ride in the Cup, and only the third ever, and the first since 1989.
I spoke to Claire this morning, and she just said that she spent Saturday night just pinching herself. She couldn't believe she was actually going to get a ride in the Cup, Bruce, and what a thrill for her too, no doubt about that. And of course, Frankie Dettori, he's had his share of critics over the years on some of his rides here at Flemington, but got a feeling today, well, he's very, very confident today, I think for the first time, to be honest.
Daryl Holland there has had a super season in England. And here's Frankie Dettori, back yet again. He was placed on Central Park in '99. He's probably the world's most famous jockey, and Mamul is now the favourite. Mamul is now the favourite. Mummified, now Paddy Payne has ridden international horses at his last 3 Melbourne Cup starts. He was fourth on Torfin's Melody in 1998.
I think he got the ride today because, of course, he rode Hatharena in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes for Godolphin last year. And there's Stephen Arnold, probably one of the tallest jockeys in the world, Bruce.
He was 23rd last year on Sandmason. He's on Pentastic, has a real chance of getting into the winner's frame today.
A boy from Alice Springs, right in the centre of Australia.
Well, Jim Cassidy, his 2 wins in the Cup have been 2 of the most famous ever, in 1983 on Kiwi and in 1997 on Might and Power.
Led all the way on Might and Power, came from nearly last on Kiwi.
Davy Condon, 17 years of age. His great friend was killed in an accident at Galway recently. He's 22-year-old Sean Kelly, and he'll be riding for him today. Damien Oliver, there is no more famous jockey in Australia. Last year's win on Media Puzzle stopped this nation. His brother Jason had died in the previous week. It was the most emotional cup we can ever remember.
Clearly the best jockey in Australia.
Kieran McAvoy has won the cup on Brew 3 years ago, and he's finished in the top 6 in all his 3 rides.
And hard to beat today as well, Bruce.
On Distinctly Secret. Dean McEwen's on Hugs Dance. He's 44 years of age, and he knows this horse really well. He's a very successful jockey in the north of England.
Yes, and an aggressive rider, Bruce, and he's going to need to ride aggressively today.
Stephen King won the Cox Plate at Moonee Valley just a week and a half ago. He won the Cup on Let's Elope in 1991.
Yes, and of course he's got the big 3, the Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup and Cox Plate. I'm sure he'd like to add another Melbourne Cup to that.
He's on Gray's song. Now, Makybe Diva's been a drifter. This is Glenn Boss. He thought he had the Cup 1 on Champagne in 1998.
He did, and by jingo, he is a big race jockey, Bruce. Group 1s, he's got a stack of them in his cupboard.
Matt Pumper, who just rode the last winner, he's on the outside of Piaget. First ride in the Cup.
Yes, promising young apprentice too, Matt Pumper, and apprentice has got a pretty good record in the Melbourne Cup considering. He'll be hard to beat.
Brett Treble is one of our top jockeys, but he's never been closer to 13th in 5 previous Cups. He's on Chimeric. Here's Shane Dye. He's on Frightening, one of the favourites. He won the Cup on Terrific. His second place getters have all been famous. Shivers Revenge, Viander Cross, Nothing Like a Dane.
Hardly a shy retiring type, Bruce. I can't imagine the scenes if he gets over the line first.
Based in Hong Kong now. Corey Brown has been 3rd and 2nd the last 2 years. He's on Schumpeter.
Yes, I think he's going to see a fair bit of flesh in front of him today, but a very, very good jockey and riding very well, Corey Brown.
Scott Seamer, great story 2 years ago when he won on Ethereal. He's on She's Archie.
Fairy tale for Scotty Seamer. Macadamia nut farmer, of course, from Queensland, Bruce.
Zagalia's out 2 points, out to about 13s, and Chris Muntz rode Jezebel to success in 1998.
Yes, probably the smallest jockey, which is saying something, I suppose, but a great big race jockey.
Craig Newitt's already ridden a winner today. He rode Miss Melise last year. He's on Ain't Seen Nothing.
Leading apprentice in Victoria this season. He's made great inroads this year, Craig Newitt.
Peter Mertens rides Big Paddy. Rode him 2 years ago into 19th place when he was one of the favourites.
I said on Saturday when he rode the winner that he only had 5 kids, he's got 6.
Reece Wheeler's on Bold Bard. First ride for Reece in the Cup, one of the outsiders. Here's Claire Lindrop, the first Australian woman to ride in a Melbourne Cup. A 301 chance Devon.
And getting a huge cheer from the crowd too, Claire Lindrop. Good on her.
Stephen Baster rode the Hind in 2000 when he got badly checked in the straight. This is his 4th ride in the Cup. He's on Farwaz.
And of course, the final jockey we're going to see here on number 24, Yakama, is Michael Rodd from Queensland. A very, very promising apprentice group. He's got Group 1 victories to his name this year, Michael Rodd. Ridden a winner today. He's a good kid, this guy.
He rode Praised Gem last year, and she finished in 14th place, so he has his 2nd ride. Huge money for Marmul. It's been heavily backed and will run a clear favourite now in the Tui's New Melbourne Cup. Can Godolphin do it? They say that the Kentucky Derby and the Melbourne Cup are the 2 mountains they still need to climb. Well, perhaps today they'll get to the top of one of them.
What a remarkable race, though, Bruce. Here's a horse, Marmul, that the entire crowd, all the punters all around Australia, they've never set eyes on him before, but they're going to send him out favourite in our biggest race.
So that's one of the features of a presentation, and there's the other one, the National Anthem. Here's Rob Guest.
Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, our beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing.
that stirring rendition from Rob Guest, who's really made his mark in this country with Les Miserables and Phantom of the Opera. And when we return, the horses will be in the mounting yard for the Tui's new Melbourne Cup.
Stand by for the Melbourne Cup. Racing. An almighty roar from the crowd. The big field thunders to the turn out of the straight in the Melbourne Cup. They're approaching the home turn. What a Melbourne Cup victory. What a win.
The fabulous scenes here at Flemington for the 2003 Tui's new Melbourne Cup, with the horses about to come into the mounting yard. So the walk from the birdcage down to the mounting yard, it can be important. I wonder what sort of a mood Holly Orders is going to be in today.
We have seen over the years, Bruce, a lot of the international gallopers getting very, very stirred up and worked up on the way to the mounting yard because, of course, there's people on either side of them, lots of noise, lots of colour, even the odd sort of a streamer being thrown, and a lot of the international gallopers not used to it and become quite worked up.
They're starting to make their way as we have a look at the totes. With the 14 million basically in the pool. Marmol continues to shorten number 2 at $8. Fantastic has held his price all the way through at $10.20. Holly Orders is getting out $16.20. Mr. Prudent, $12.40. He's a 9-year-old. No 9-year-old has won the Cup. Grace Song, third in the Sydney Cup this year at $9.40 and second in the Caulfield Cup. Makybe Diva at $9.40. The owner of Makybe Diva tried to back that mare to win $1 million yesterday in the call of the card.
Must be good money in tuna fishing, Bruce.
Comes from Port Lincoln in South Australia. Frightening is $6.20. If Frightening were to win, Bart Cummings would make it 12 cups. The next best is 5. Zagalia shortens a bit into $18.50, $10.90 in New South Wales. Big Pat, who won the Saab on Saturday at $28.20. Pat Welsh is out in the betting ring. Pat, I believe the money keeps coming for Marmol.
One of the bookies runners walked past me just a moment ago, Bruce, and said this has been an absolute avalanche. When I arrived on track, it was double each way odds. Mamul, you know, I said a couple of times that the bookies were expecting something to happen. Well, it's happened. It's firmed up 2 points. It's clearly now the Melbourne Cup favourite, Mamul, and it has been just a massive, massive betting plunge. As a result, everything else has drifted. Makybe Diva is out 1.5 points. Frightening is out 1.5 points as well. And the rest of them haven't really done much at all. All the money, all the big money coming in the last half hour has been for Mamul.
So Godolphin's Mamul runs favourite. Here's Jardine's Lookout. 7th last year. Terrific run behind Persian Punch in the Goodwood Cup. Daryl Holland to ride for Alan Jarvis.
A race, of course, the Goodwood Cup that he won in 2002, Bruce. So I guess he's come into the race in pretty good form. A little bit disappointing at York last start, I believe. And, Bruce, I couldn't find an excuse for him in last year's Melbourne Cup. The trainer was critical of the jockey, Paddy Payne. He's brought his own boy out this year. But I thought the ride was OK. And he's going to have to find something extra this year, I believe.
First of the Godolphins have been second twice and third once Godolphin. Here's Marmol. 2 Group 1 wins in Germany in the lead up to the race.
Yes, well, we've spoken at length about Marmol, Bruce. Clearly a high-class galloper, and luck in running going to be very, very important, as is how he handles the big field.
His ears are pricked, he's looking around, he looks OK. He's got 2 people walking him around. The other Godolphin horse is Mill Street, somewhat of a pacemaker in Europe. He's an Irish horse bought by Godolphin, 9 placings in his 14 starts and a couple of wins.
Yes, well, another one of Godolphin's pacemakers, Central Park, nearly pinched the race a couple of years back behind Rogan Josh. And Paddy Payne, a local boy, I'm sure Paddy Payne only knows how to ride one way. He'll sool this horse to the front. He won't stack him up. He'll bowl along and set a good pace.
Number 5, Pentastic, was 5th in this race last year, a slashing 2nd in the McKinnon Stakes on Saturday.
Traditionally a great lead-up race in the McKinnon to the Melbourne Cup. A very, very good galloper. Unlucky in the Sydney Cup last year. He's right in this race.
County Tyrone was 80-1 last year, number 6, and ran 11th in the Cup, but his Moonee Valley Cup 3rd was very good.
And a Sydney and Brisbane Cup place getter this year, County Tyrone. But again, I thought he had every chance last year. He's going to have to lift.
Holly Orders has been the personality horse, refusing to gallop out at Sandown. He's a champion hurdle winner at Punchestown in Ireland, but he has been a bit grumpy and reluctant.
He has, and gee whiz, it seems a very, very big ask for a hurdler in this particular race, Bruce.
Number 8, Mr. Prout, 9 years of age. George Hanlon, the trainer, has won 3 cups. He's 86 years of age. Damien Oliver going for a third.
That's right. Well, our best jockey here by a long shot. He won the Sydney Cup in 2001, second in 2002, and of course place getter in this race last year. A 9-year-old Bruce. They just don't do it.
Distinctly Secret is arguably the best horse in New Zealand. He was 6th in the Cup at 6-1 last year.
Got terrific form coming into this race in the Yalumba, the Caulfield Cup and the McKinnon. Every run this campaign has been excellent. Just maybe a stronger horse this year, Bruce, and I think that gives him a terrific chance.
10 Hugs Dancers, the one international who's had the lead-up run. It was in the Caulfield Cup when he was 7th. He's won twice at 4,200 metres, and all his wins have been on top of the ground.
That's right, and 3rd in the Doncaster Cup before his very, very good Caulfield Cup run. A racetrack where he wasn't suited. It's a bit of a tight track. He's a long-striding horse. I think this big track here at Flemington is going to suit him. He's my pick of the internationals.
11 Grey Song ran 15th last year. He's a much better horse this year. He was 2nd in the Caulfield Cup, and he's very solid in the betting ring.
Yes, a very, very good stayer, this bloke. Originally thought of as just a wet tracker, but really his dry track form has been strong this year. He's racing so well. Great trainer, great trainer. He's got a good chance.
Maccabi Diva next up, won 6 straight last spring. She was offered for sale in England, didn't bring any more than about 5,000 guineas. Tony Santic brought her home, the owner, and here she is, just about second favourite for the Cup.
Yeah, and this is a horse that's been set for the one race for 12 months. She won the Queen Elizabeth Stakes on final day last year. This race would have been in mind for 12 months. Everything's gone right. Her form's terrific. Hard to beat.
She's a stablemate of Fantastic and a stablemate also of Piaget, who won the Brisbane Cup this year but looks to be out of form.
Yeah, out of form, Bruce, and he really this just looks way too tough for him.
Chimeric, trained by Lee Friedman, who, like George Hanlon, has won 3 cups. This horse has won a Perth Cup, 3rd in the Geelong Cup, and with Mummify scratching is Lee's last chance.
Well, the Geelong Cup never really a lead-up until last year, of course, with Media Puzzle winning it before winning the Melbourne Cup. His run in the Geelong Cup was terrific. Zazman's made the form look good earlier on today. He's a lightweight handicapper, and this is a handicap. This is probably the best roughie in the race, Chimeric.
15 is Frightening. Moonee Valley Cup, Kunji's last 2 starts. Shane Dyer's based in Hong Kong now, won the Cup in 89 on Terrific. Bart Cummings going for an extraordinary 12th Melbourne Cup here today.
And one of those Melbourne Cups, Bruce, was Kingston Rule, who won the Kunji Handicap, won the Moonee Valley Cup before winning the Melbourne Cup. And that's exactly what this bloke's done. He's won the Kunji, won the Valley Cup. He's got absolutely no weight, 50 kilos. Got a big race jockey on Shane Dye. Oh, he's got a chance.
Schumpeter 16. Peter Moody, the trainer, won a Group 1 on the weekend with the Sprinter Ancient Song, but this horse looks out of form.
Totally out of form and outclassed.
17, She's Archie. Scott Seamer, the jockey here, 2nd in the Geelong Cup. The horse that she ran 2nd to has won earlier today, Zazman.
That's right, Bruce. This horse won the South Australian Oaks over 2,500 metres last year, then had a serious injury, didn't run for 13 months, but her form since that long spell has been good. She's got a chance at 50-1. She's not hopeless. 18 is Zagalia, winner of the Queensland Oaks. Now, the owner of Zagalia, John Singleton, is such a personality in this country, a big media owner. He won a Golden Slipper a couple of years back and won $1 million on the punt, and he shouted the whole bar that day at Rosehill. And despite the fact there'll be 120,000 here today, Bruce, he'll shout the bar again. He won't shout the members' bar, though, just the public bar. Her form leading into this race, very, very good. Chrissy Muntz, a big race jockey as well. Again, she's got a chance in the race. She'll need luck from that poor draw, though. Good value on the toe.